Did it work?
Yes, it worked. It worked.
Amazing. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on today. And this is so cool to learn a new platform. So this is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great platform. Like everybody's just coming on. Like this whole pandemic has like brought a lot of people onto like all these like live streaming platforms because they've got nowhere else to go, and it's just like a great outlet for people nowadays.
Totally.
It's been
Yeah. Such a good way for us to all still feel connected during such a crazy year.
yeah. So, for everybody who doesn't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you
Sure. So my name's Betsy Spina, and I'm currently the host of Radio Disney Country. I used to work at SiriusXM. I was on The Highway, The Message, Today Show Radio, and Prime Country. And I'm also an actor. So I've been on One Life to Live and a show called Greek that was on ABC Family, which is now owned by Freeform. So I'm an actor and a host. And I grew up in upstate New York, and I moved to California at 17 to go to college. I studied at Pepperdine University. I studied music and theater, and then just kind of started pursuing the arts as soon as I could, as soon as I graduated. So I've done those few things that I mentioned, as well as 8 million part-time jobs. So I'm always happy to talk about anything and the realities of pursuing the entertainment business, which we all love so much, but definitely can have challenging moments too. So just like to be real about all of it. But yeah, that's me.
definitely. So, what made you want to get into the entertainment industry? And
That's a great question. I have loved it since I was little. So I think I started taking dance class around like 3 or 4. And after I started doing dance classes, I got into acting classes and voice lessons, and I just loved all of it so much. And when I was 13, I saw the musical Rent on Broadway. I'm sorry, this probably sounds like a cliche story, but I feel like that was the moment for me. I saw that musical and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like I loved the connection that I felt with the people on stage and the story they were telling. And I remember just thinking like, I want to help tell great stories, and I want to help tell other people's stories, and I want to help connect people and help people feel joy and love. And so I think that was like really when it hit me. I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. So I love storytelling. And again, like I love acting, but I also love doing interviews and hosting and just, connecting with people and helping people to know that they're not alone in whatever they're going through.
you have done like a little bit of musical theater too, right?
Yes. I'm like a huge musical theater nerd. I love all musicals. I'm trying to think. The very first musical I ever saw was Cats, and which is kind of a funny one. I know people either love Cats or don't love Cats, but that was the first musical I saw. And yeah, I just like fell in love so early on with musical theater. I did it all throughout high school and college. And I'm living in California now, but I used to live in New York City, and one of my best friends and I did a YouTube show where we interviewed a lot of Broadway performers or up and coming Broadway performers, and that was super fun too. So I'm a big musical nerd for anyone else that likes musicals.
Yeah, I'm actually a performing arts major right now in college.
Yay!
So
It's the best.
it is. So, now, is there a musical that you would love to be in, that if you were to, like, what's one dream musical that you would love to be in?
So this is one that I don't know that a lot of people know, but it's called Light in the Piazza. And I fell in love with that musical. The original cast had Matthew Morrison and Kelly O'Hara in it, and I loved Kelly O'Hara's role. So that is a role that I would love to play. Gosh, there are so many. I love Wicked so much, and like Spring Awakening was another show that I really loved. And I love a lot of the classics too, like Carousel and Showboat, and so many of those too. Also, I see that Jay mentioned that he just watched Hamilton for the first time. Does that count? Absolutely. Hamilton is amazing. I definitely think that counts. So yeah. So sorry, to answer your question, Light in the Piazza would be my first dream role.
Of course.
What about you? Do you have a favorite musical or a role that you would want to play?
My favorite musical has to be Les Mis.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah, that was like one of the first musicals I saw on Broadway, and it was just like, it hit me, and I've seen it, I saw it like so many times, and it's just like, it's always a musical that's brought up, and like all the renditions, especially the movie with Anne Hathaway, the latest remake, like that came out great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was amazing. I know I loved Hugh Jackman in that too. Everybody was so good.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So, who are some of your influences in the industry? Like,
Oh man, I love so many different people. I think because I've kind of been involved in different things. So like musical theater world, I love like Adina Menzel, Kristen Chenoweth, Kelly O'Hara, Audra McDonald. Those are some of the women that I really love in musical theater. Um, in radio, there are so many amazing people. There's a host in Nashville named Kelly Sutton, who I love so much. I also love Kelly Ford. She's out of New York. There are so many amazing women. Jessica, who works on the highway on Sirius XM, she has been just a role model of mine for such a long time. I am obsessed with her. And another amazing woman named Stacey Stone, who I worked in Christian radio for a little bit, and I worked with Stacey, and she and her husband are so incredible. So I really look up to all of them in the radio world. And then as a host, Kelly Ripa is one of my favorites. So I love Kelly Ripa, and I'm so inspired by her as well. But just like anyone that's out doing what they love, I am inspired by. So Kim, now you are an inspiration to me too. You're amazing.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, now you actually have interviewed a lot of people, and I recall seeing Idina Menzel as one of them.
Yes.
So what was it like to interview one of your inspirations?
This is an amazing story. Thank you for asking this question. So the funniest part was that I was hosting or getting to do red carpet hosting for CMA Country Christmas, which of course is a country show. And I had no idea that Idina Menzel would be a part of the lineup yet. And I was there backstage, and then I heard people saying like, oh, Idina Menzel's going to be here. She's performing with Jennifer Nettles, who I also love. And I was like, what? Idina Menzel is here. And so people were like, we're not sure if she's going to have time to do press, but we hope she'll be able to come through. And I just was like, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't know what I'm going to do, because again, like Rent for me was such a big deal. So I have loved Idina Menzel since I was 13. And so I was so excited. Her team came through and they were like, okay, Idina's going to have like just a couple of minutes to do an interview, but she will come through. And I was like, I've loved Idina since I was 13. And her team was so nice. And she came through and she was so lovely. It was a quick interview, but she was amazing, and somehow I was able to keep it together. But the few people that I was there working with were laughing because they knew that I was like losing it inside, just trying to keep it together. But she was so nice, so I loved getting to meet her. It felt very surreal. Sometimes when I see the picture or like watch the footage, I'm like, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, definitely. So now, is there any advice for anyone who wants to get into acting or radio? Or,
Man, yeah. Good. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, you're fine.
I think, gosh, advice. I feel like it's so tough. I know when I have watched things like this, or definitely when I was growing up, you want someone to say like, do these 3 things and it will work. And I know I hate that I like can't give you 3 things that are guaranteed to work. I will say, if you love it, keep doing it. Like no matter what, just keep doing it, keep pursuing it. You know, if you get big parts, awesome. If you get small parts, that's also awesome. If you're working backstage, if you're like, whatever you're doing to be in this world, pursuing something you love, keep doing it and don't give up on it. So that would be number 1. Number 2, I think, would be to be flexible as you're pursuing that thing you love, and know that like sometimes you might have to take side jobs that you don't love to be able to, you know, afford you to live so that you can then go on and pursue the things you really do love. So I think just like keep working towards that common goal and take as many classes as you can, and just like learn from any experience that you're going through, whether you're on set, if you're on stage, if you're like, I don't know. I've done so many part-time jobs. I feel like you can learn things from retail jobs. Like no matter what you're doing, just keep learning and be a positive, good person, and good things will come. So just keep at it, I think, is probably like the biggest piece of advice that I could give. Don't give up.
Yeah. So now you've been with Radio Disney Country since like the beginning of the premiere of it. Like,
Yeah.
What has it been like, and like working with the Walt Disney Company, and like what has it been like just being able to interview like all the country stars out there, and like is there one country star that sticks out to you the most that you have a favorite?
I love all of them. They are like truly all just as nice as they seem on TV. Like they are that kind and lovely. Like Keith Urban, I remember I met once, and he is one of those people that like goes out of his way to learn your name before he even comes up to you. like just such a kind and generous human being. Garth Brooks is the same way, and Trisha Yearwood. And I love like Russell Dickerson, Maren Morris, Old Dominion, Kelsey Ballerini. Like, God, they're really, truly, I'm not just saying this, they're the nicest people on the face of the planet. So they're all amazing. And working for Disney has been so incredible. So Radio Disney was one of the very first jobs I had after college. I worked on the road crew, and we would go out and do live events. And shortly after that, I started on air, and then I quit and moved back to New York so that I could pursue acting there and do other radio work. And then when they launched Radio Disney Country 5 years ago, they called me and they said, would you be interested in coming back and anchoring the station for us? And I was just so thrilled and honored at the opportunity because I love Disney so much. Again, like ever since I was a little kid, I've just loved Disney. So it was such an honor to get to come back and to be a part of this country station. And it has just been completely surreal to be a part of it. And some of my favorite things, like I loved getting to do CMA Fest, which is a big country music festival that happens in Nashville in June. I love getting to be a part of that, and the CMA Awards I always love in November. And it just has been a complete dream come true. So I've been so grateful to work with such kind, amazing, inspiring human beings. It's been really fun.
Definitely. Yeah, I actually did the Disney college program.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I worked at Epcot. That was my home location. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time, and I just think the Walt Disney Company is a great place. You make so many friends and they become your family. And
yes, so many. Yeah, you're right. It's just good people that are there, that are positive and hardworking and loving, and just I feel like they want every day to have a little bit of magic in it. And it's so amazing to be around people like that. I'm so glad that you got to do that program. That's so cool.
Yeah. So now Kayla actually has a question in the chat. She said, who's your favorite country artist you've interviewed?
Oh my gosh. I don't know that I can pick. They're all so nice. Russell Dickerson is coming to my mind right now because he is just so funny and sweet and positive. He's one of those people you leave and you just like feel so happy after being around him. So I love Russell Dickerson so much. I also love Maren Morris, and Cam. Cam is just an amazing human being. I adore her. I think she is so smart and talented and kind, and she's just an amazing woman. So I love Cam so much too. But truly, like, they're all so nice, so it's hard for me to pick. But those are a couple favorites that are coming to mind right now. And the guys from Old Dominion, I love them, and they always make me laugh really hard. So those are some of my faves.
So how is, if any, how has this pandemic affected you and your work?
That is a great question. It has been, so in some ways, like at the beginning of quarantine and everything, I've been working from home since March, and it's been amazing to be able to do Zoom interviews, and I can still record my radio breaks from home. So that's been really wonderful, and I've been so thankful to get to continue to do that. Obviously, things have been really challenging for the entertainment industry as a whole, and it's been so tough to watch what everyone's been going through. And again, as someone who loves Broadway so much, it's so hard that that's been shut down, and all the theater here in LA too. But I know it's like so beautiful to see the community coming together and how supportive and encouraging people are. And I know things will thrive. Again, it's just a tough time right now. And Disney as a company has gone through a lot of changes and challenges too. They actually last week announced that they are going to be closing Radio Disney and Radio Disney Country coming up in February, which is crazy. So I'll be embarking on a new adventure. So that was definitely a big change, but I feel like God always has a plan in everything in life. No matter what craziness is thrown at you, there's always a bigger plan. So yeah, it's definitely been a wild year, but I'm excited to see what's next.
Definitely. So you've been with them from the beginning till the end.
Yeah, which I feel so honored to have been a part of, like, you know, the full journey of something. I feel like that's so rare to get to see something from the beginning to the end.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if people want to check you out and learn more about you, like, where can they find you?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, so Instagram, I'm probably the best on Instagram because I love it. I love a good Insta story. I also love to do like something a little bit positive every day, so I try and put something good out there. So I'm at Betsy Spina on Instagram. I do have a website that's the same, betsyspina.com. I am on Facebook and Twitter, but sometimes I forget that those exist. So if you message me there, It's not you. It's just that I forget that those apps exist for some reason. So Instagram is probably the best. And I like love to answer questions or talk about anything, anytime. So please feel free to reach out and ask absolutely anything. I am an open book and love to just help people.
Great.
Yeah.
So now, is there anything I didn't mention that you'd like to add?
No, I feel like you asked so many great things, and this is just so much fun. So I'm so grateful to get to be a part of your show today. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Is so from a interview, because I know you've been interviewing and hosting for a while. So, is there any? I just want to ask you because this is just a rare moment. But if you have any feedback for me, like on how I did today.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you're doing a great job. And it's just, I feel like it's so fun to have a normal conversation with someone. And you are so good at doing that. I was sitting here thinking that you're such a natural at just having a normal conversation. And I really appreciate that. So I think like that was a piece of advice someone gave to me early on was like, if you want to write questions, like have your questions and then just have a normal conversation and be open. Obviously you like have your questions you want to get through, but then also be open to things changing and going different places because magic can happen in those moments. And I feel like you're so good at doing that. Like we just had a great conversation. So you're amazing. You got this, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming on and being a part of the show today. And I'm looking forward to see what's next for you. Like you said, I know Radio Disney Country is coming to a close, and I'm sure you don't know what's on your plate next, but I'm looking forward to following your journey and see what happens.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet to say that. Yeah, I am not sure what's next, but I know something good will come up, and it's kind of an exciting place to be in of like, ooh, I don't know what's coming. It's like that line in West Side Story, something's coming, something good.
It's like, have you ever, because I know you were talking about you did a little voice lessons, like have you ever thought about like maybe like doing like a record or singing yourself?
That's so nice. I love to sing, and I've done a lot of choral work. I feel like I studied classical music in college, and it was classical voice. So I like could have gone the route of like being a solo, performer, but I love singing in a group, and I feel like I find this like comfort and unity in singing in a group. So I love to sing. There is part of me that like wishes I could do that. I also don't feel like I'm that great. Like some people are just so good, but I love singing so much. So I don't know that I would do like a solo album, but I would love to do any sort of like choral work or singing like a Disney character I would love to voice at some point in time. So I love singing. So who knows? Like who knows what the future holds?
If you could choose any Disney character or Disney movie to be in,
Oh my gosh.
what would it be?
Okay, so like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, like I loved Ariel and Belle growing up. But then as I've gotten older and Tangled came out, I feel like I like really relate to Rapunzel. So I think that would be one that I would pick. And then of course, like there are so many fun characters beyond just like your classic Disney princesses too. But those are three that come to mind for me. I feel like Tangled, I love the movie Enchanted, which I know was like part animated, part live action. But I loved that role as well. That's another role I would love to play. What about you? Would you want to be in any Disney movies?
I feel like the Disney movie that like connects with me the most is like probably Beauty and the Beast.
Great choice. It's so good.
It is. It's such a great movie.
I know. I also love Princess and the Frog. Did you ever see that one?
I did. That's a great movie.
It's so good. I love that one too. And I love her like story of like hard work and perseverance. It's a good one.
Yeah, there's so many great stories with the Disney movies.
Yeah, totally.
It's like as a kid, you don't really get to acknowledge those stories, but then when you're growing up, you just like, you start to realize the storyline's a bit more like, oh, this is the message it's bringing.
Yes. I feel like it is cool that those things were just kind of like planted, those seeds were planted for us at a young age. And then you're right, you realize it when you get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on my show. And
Thank you. This was so fun.
yeah, all right. Well, I look forward to talking to you soon and following your journey. And I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you so much, Kim. You too. I'm so excited to keep up with you and let me know if I can ever do anything for you anytime or anyone watching. So, yeah, thank you so much. Have a great night and happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays too.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll exit you from the box.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
bye. All right, guys, that was Betsy, and that was our show for today. We had a short show, but it was a good show. It was a great show, and we'll be back next week for our final show of the year. We have a great lineup. We might have a bigger stacked up lineup just because it's the last show of the year. Who knows? You'll just have to come back and see who's going to be on next week. But for now, that is it, everybody, and I will see you all later.